Have you ever made a decision that you later regretted? Maybe you said yes when you should have said no, or maybe you said no when you should have said yes. We've all been there. Making decisions is part of life. Every day, we decide what to eat, what to wear, what to study, who to talk to, and how to spend our time. Some decisions are small, like choosing between tea and coffee, but others can change your life completely, like choosing your career, your friends, or the person you want to marry. So how can we learn to make the right decisions? And how can we do that while improving our English? Let's explore together. Today we are going to learn English through a real-life topic, how to take the right decisions. So as you listen and read, repeat after me. Practice your pronunciation. Try to answer my questions aloud. And most importantly, think deeply about your own choices. Ready? Let's begin. Let's start with something simple. What is a decision? A decision is a choice between two or more options. But a right decision means something more. It's a decision that takes you closer to your goals, aligns with your values, and makes you feel peaceful inside. The truth is, no one can make every decision perfectly, but we can all learn how to make better decisions. I want to share a small story with you. Once there was a young man named Amir. He lived in a busy city and worked hard at a job he didn't love. Every day he felt tired and uninspired. One day, his friend offered him a new opportunity, a chance to start a small online business. Amir was unsure. Should he leave his safe job? What if the business failed? What if he lost everything? But something inside him whispered, "Take the risk. Believe in yourself." After weeks of thinking, Amir made the decision to try. It wasn't easy, but over time, his business grew. A few years later, he realized that decision had changed his entire life. Now think for a moment. Have you ever been in a situation like Amir's? Have you ever been afraid to decide because you didn't want to fail? If your answer is yes, that's okay. Fear is normal. Everyone feels afraid before making big choices. But great decisions are not made without fear. They are made despite fear. Repeat after me. I am not afraid of making decisions. Again, I learn from every decision I make. Good. You see, confidence grows when you make choices and learn from them. Many people wait for the perfect moment or the perfect choice, but that perfect moment rarely comes. Sometimes the best thing you can do is make a thoughtful decision and move forward. Let's learn some useful vocabulary. Option, a choice or possibility. For example, I have two options, stay or leave. Evaluate, to think carefully before deciding. You should evaluate the pros and cons. Intuition, your inner feeling or sense. Trust your intuition when you feel something is right. Consequence, the result of your action. Every decision has a consequence. Prioritize, to decide what is most important. You should prioritize your goals. Now, practice these words aloud. Say them with me. Option, evaluate. Intuition, consequence, prioritize. Excellent. Let's go deeper. One of the most powerful ways to make better decisions is to ask the right questions. Instead of saying, "What if I fail?" ask, "What will I learn if I try?" Instead of thinking, "What if it doesn't work?" ask, "What if it does?" You see, questions shape our thinking. Positive questions open your mind. Negative ones close it. Let's do a small exercise together. I'll ask you some questions. You can answer aloud or in your mind. What is one decision you've been afraid to make recently? Why are you afraid? What is the best thing that could happen if you said yes? And what is the worst thing that could happen if you said no? Take a few seconds to think. Remember, awareness is the first step toward clarity. Another key to decision-making is patience. Some people decide too fast. They don't think enough. Others think too much and never decide. Both are dangerous. The right balance is to think clearly, gather information, and then act. Repeat after me. I think carefully, but I also take action. I don't let fear stop me. Well done. Now, let's talk about how emotions affect decisions. Have you ever noticed how different your choices are when you're angry, sad, or tired? Emotions can make us impulsive. That means we act without thinking. For example, when we're angry, we might say something we don't mean. When we're sad, we might give up too early. That's why it's important to pause before deciding. Take a deep breath. Sleep on it. Give your mind time to calm down. Let's repeat. When I'm emotional, I wait before I decide. This small habit can save you from big mistakes. Here's another short story. There was a woman named Lena who got angry easily. One day she argued with her best friend. In anger, she sent a message saying she never wanted to talk again. Later that night, when her anger cooled down, she realized she didn't mean it. But it was too late. Her friend was deeply hurt. From that day, Lena learned a powerful lesson. Never make decisions when you're emotional. Let's learn a useful phrase. Sleep on it. It means to wait until the next day to decide. You can say, I'll sleep on it and tell you tomorrow. Try saying that aloud now. Good job. Now let's connect decision-making with English learning. Learning a language is also a series of decisions. You decide to study. You decide to practice. You decide to keep going even when it's hard. The quality of your English depends on the quality of your decisions. So ask yourself, do you make time for English every day? Do you choose to listen, read, and speak regularly? Or do you keep waiting for the right time? The right time is now. The right decision is the one that helps you grow today. Repeat this. I choose to learn every day. I make decisions that help me grow. Fantastic. Here's a simple 3-step formula to make better decisions in life and language learning. Step 1. Pause and think. Don't rush. Ask yourself what you really want. Step 2. Gather information. Understand your options and possible outcomes. Step 3. Trust yourself. Once you've thought carefully, believe in your choice and move forward with confidence. Let's practice this. Imagine you want to start speaking English with others, but you're shy. Step 1. Pause and think. Why do I feel shy? Step 2. Gather information. Maybe join an online group or find a speaking partner. Step 3. Trust yourself and take action. The moment you speak, you'll realize it wasn't as scary as you thought. Making decisions builds your character. Every time you decide and follow through, you grow stronger. You become more confident, more independent, and more responsible. And that's how you build a better life. One decision at a time. Repeat after me. I make smart decisions. I learn from every choice I make. My decisions shape my future. You're doing great so far. Remember, the goal is not to be perfect. The goal is to be aware, intentional, and courageous. Making right decisions is not about luck. It's about learning how to listen to your heart and your mind together. Let's take a small pause here. You've learned what a right decision is, how to deal with fear, how to balance emotion and logic, and how to use decision-making in your English learning journey. Sometimes we think the hardest part of making a decision is choosing between right and wrong, but often the real challenge is choosing between two good options. Imagine you have two job offers. One pays more money, but the other gives you more free time and happiness. Which one should you choose? That's where decision-making becomes an art, not just a skill. It's not always about what looks good on paper. It's about what feels right for you. Every person has different priorities. For one person, success might mean having a big house. For another, success might mean spending time with family. For someone else, success might mean traveling the world. So the right decision depends on your own values. Let's pause here and reflect. What are your top 3 values in life? Is it honesty, freedom, kindness, peace, love, or success? Think about it. Your values are like a compass. They help you find your direction when you feel lost. Repeat after me. My values guide my decisions. I choose what feels true to me. Now let's talk about a common problem many people face: overthinking. Overthinking means thinking too much about something, again and again, until your mind becomes tired and confused. Have you ever overthought before making a decision? Maybe you replayed every possible outcome in your head. Maybe you asked 10 different people for advice. Maybe you changed your mind again and again. Overthinking doesn't make your decision better. It makes it harder. There's a story about a girl named Sarah. She wanted to study abroad. She got a scholarship to a good university, but she was scared to leave her home country. She kept thinking, what if I can't make friends? What if I fail? What if I miss my family too much? She thought so much that she nearly missed the chance. Finally, her mother said, "Sarah, you cannot see the whole road before you start walking. Just take the first step." Sarah listened. She took the flight. Years later, she said that decision changed her life. You see, the fear of making the wrong decision can sometimes stop you from making any decision. But doing nothing is also a decision, and usually it's the wrong one. When you take no action, you let life decide for you. Repeat after me. I don't let fear or overthinking control me. I take action with courage. Now, let's learn a few helpful phrases related to decisions. Make up your mind to decide something. Example: it's time to make up your mind. Go for it. To take a chance. Example: you want to start your own business? Go for it. Take responsibility. To accept the result of your choice. Example: I'll take responsibility for my decision. Follow your gut. To trust your feelings or intuition. Example: I followed my gut and it was right. Think it through. To consider carefully. Example: before you decide, think it through. Let's practice these aloud. Make up your mind. Go for it. Take responsibility. Follow your gut. Think it through. Excellent job. Decision-making is not about always being right. It's about being responsible. Even if your choice doesn't go as planned, you learn something valuable. Some people call this failing forward. It means every failure brings you closer to wisdom. Every wrong turn teaches you how to find the right path next time. Let me tell you another story. There was a young man named Daniel. He wanted to start a restaurant, but his first attempt failed badly. He lost money and people laughed at him. But Daniel didn't give up. He learned from his mistakes. He studied customer needs, improved his recipes, and tried again. The second time, his restaurant became one of the most popular in his city. Later, someone asked him, "What was the secret of your success?" Daniel smiled and said, "My secret was my first failure. It taught me everything." Now think about this. Have you ever made a decision that didn't go well, but later taught you something valuable? Take a moment to recall it. Repeat after me. I don't lose, I learn. Every decision helps me grow. Beautiful. Let's connect this again with English learning. Many learners hesitate to speak because they fear making mistakes. But language is like life. You learn by doing, not by waiting. Every time you speak, even if you make a grammar mistake or forget a word, you improve. The decision to speak is always the right one. Say this out loud. I decide to speak, even if I make mistakes. I learn faster when I try. Well done. Now, let's look at how we can make decisions more effectively. There's a simple technique called the 10-10-10 rule. It helps you think clearly. Here's how it works. Ask yourself 3 questions. How will I feel about this decision 10 minutes from now? How will I feel about it 10 months from now? How will I feel about it 10 years from now? When you think in this way, short-term fear becomes smaller, and long-term peace becomes clearer. Many wise people make decisions using this method. For example, if you're scared to give a presentation in English, think 10 minutes of fear versus 10 years of confidence. Which one is more important? Of course, 10 years of confidence. Let's try this together. Think of a small decision you need to make. Maybe calling someone, joining a class, or applying for a job. Ask yourself the 10-10-10 questions. How will you feel 10 minutes after doing it? Maybe nervous. How about 10 months later? Proud. And 10 years later? Grateful that you took action. Repeat after me. I think long-term before I decide. I choose growth over comfort. That's the mindset of successful people. Now, let's talk about another important part of decision-making. Advice. It's good to listen to others, but remember, advice is information, not instruction. You can listen to people, but the final decision must come from you. Why? Because no one else lives your life. No one feels what you feel. So don't let others' opinions control your path. Here's a useful phrase. Take it with a grain of salt. It means to listen, but not believe everything blindly. You can say, "Thanks for the advice, but I'll take it with a grain of salt." Repeat after me. I listen to advice, but I decide for myself. You're doing excellent so far. Let's end this section with one more inspiring story. A boy named Rafi loved painting, but his family wanted him to study engineering. He was torn between his passion and his parents' expectations. After months of thinking, he made a brave decision. He followed his heart. Years later, he became a famous artist. When people asked if he regretted not choosing engineering, he smiled and said, "No. The right decision is the one that gives you peace, even if others don't understand it. Sometimes, the right decision is not the easiest one. But when you stay true to yourself, it always leads to peace." Repeat after me. I choose peace over pressure. I trust myself to decide wisely. Wonderful. Have you ever noticed how your decisions shape your habits, and your habits shape your entire life? Every big change begins with one small decision. The decision to wake up early. The decision to read a few pages daily. The decision to speak English even when you feel shy. These small choices may seem unimportant, but over time, they build your character and your destiny. There's a saying, we become what we repeatedly do. That means our daily decisions decide who we become tomorrow. So, if you want to improve your English, your career, or your relationships, start by improving your daily decisions. Let's try this together. Think about your morning routine. Do you decide to check your phone first, or do you start your day with something positive, like reading, exercising, or learning? Every morning is a new opportunity to decide who you want to be. Repeat after me. Small decisions create big results. I choose actions that help me grow. Now, let's talk about clarity. Sometimes we make wrong decisions because we don't have clarity about what we truly want. Clarity means understanding your goals, your feelings, and your reasons. When you are clear, your choices become simple. But when you're confused, even small decisions feel heavy. Here's a simple exercise to find clarity. Take a piece of paper and write down 3 questions. What do I really want? Why do I want it? What am I afraid of? When you answer honestly, you'll often find that fear is the only thing standing between you and your right decision. Repeat after me. Clarity brings confidence. I understand what I truly want. Let's learn a few more useful phrases about decision-making. Weigh the pros and cons, to think about the good and bad sides. Before buying the car, weigh the pros and cons. Crossroads, a point where you must choose. I'm at a crossroads in my life. Make or break, something that will lead to success or failure. This decision could make or break my future. Play it safe, to avoid risks. Some people always play it safe. Step out of your comfort zone, to do something difficult or new. You grow when you step out of your comfort zone. Say them aloud. Weigh the pros and cons. Crossroads. Make or break. Play it safe. Step out of your comfort zone. Excellent. Now let's explore the idea of intuition. That quiet voice inside that tells you what's right. Have you ever had a strong feeling about something, even when logic said otherwise? That's your intuition. It's not magic, and it's the wisdom of your experiences and values combined. People who make great decisions often listen to both logic and intuition. Here's how to do it. Gather facts, but also notice how your choice makes you feel. If a decision gives you peace, it's usually right. If it makes you anxious and heavy, maybe it's not the best path. Repeat after me. I listen to my mind and my heart. My intuition helps me make good decisions. Another important point is timing. Sometimes the decision itself is right, but the timing is wrong. For example, starting a business is a great idea, but if you do it before learning the basics, you may struggle. Right decision, wrong timing. Wisdom is not only knowing what to do, but also when to do it. Let's practice this phrase. Timing matters. Say it again. Timing matters. There's a true story of a teacher named Maria who dreamed of opening her own language school. She had the idea years before she finally acted. She waited until she had enough savings, experience, and confidence. When the time came, she was ready, and her school became a success. She once said, "Sometimes waiting is not weakness. It's preparation." That's a powerful message. Waiting is not the same as giving up. Smart waiting builds strength. Now let's talk about regret. Everyone makes mistakes. Everyone has moments when they wish they had chosen differently. But regret doesn't help. Reflection does. Reflection means looking back to learn, not to blame yourself. Ask, what did this decision teach me? What will I do differently next time? Repeat after me. I forgive myself for past decisions. I use my past to make better choices. Good. Let's relate this again to English learning. Maybe you regret not starting earlier. Maybe you stopped practicing for months. But instead of feeling guilty, reflect and restart. The best time to start again is always now. You can decide today to speak more, read daily, or listen to English every morning. Every new decision moves you forward. Say this aloud. I decide to restart. I'm not late. I'm learning at my own pace. Well done. Let's also understand that not all decisions are final. Some can be changed. Some can be adjusted. You can always learn, adapt, and redirect. Life is flexible. If you realize a choice isn't working, you can shift your path. The important thing is not to freeze in fear. There's a phrase, "It's okay to change your mind." That doesn't mean you're weak. It means you're growing. The strongest people are those who learn and adjust. Repeat after me. It's okay to change my mind. I keep learning and improving. Now imagine this. You are standing at a crossroads in your life. One path is safe but boring. The other is risky but exciting. Which one do you choose? Remember, fear will always push you toward comfort, but growth lives outside your comfort zone. The people who achieve their dreams are those who make brave decisions. Not perfect ones. Repeat this powerful line. I choose courage over comfort. Let's end this section with a story that connects everything we've discussed. There was a man named Thomas who worked in an office for many years. He wanted to become a writer but was afraid to leave his stable job. Every day he thought, maybe later. One evening, while walking home, he met an old friend who said, "Do you remember how passionate you were about writing in college?" That night, Thomas stayed up thinking. He asked himself the 10-10-10 questions. How will I feel about this in 10 minutes? In 10 months? In 10 years? The answer was clear. He would regret not trying. The next day, he decided to start writing for just 1 hour each morning before work. Months passed, and that 1 hour changed everything. Within 2 years, he published his first book. His story teaches us that the right decision doesn't always mean quitting everything or taking huge risks. Sometimes it means starting small but staying consistent. Repeat after me. I take small steps in the right direction. My decisions shape my destiny. You are already on the right path by learning, reflecting, and growing. Every sentence you repeat, every word you understand, is a decision toward your better self. Sometimes the hardest decision is to keep going when things don't work as planned. You may have made what felt like the right choice, but the results are slow, the progress is invisible, and you start doubting yourself. This moment, the moment of doubt, is where most people give up. But remember this. Right decisions don't always bring fast results. They bring lasting ones. Imagine planting a seed. You water it, you give it sunlight, but for days nothing happens. Then one morning a small green leaf appears. You smile because you realize that your effort was working quietly underground all along. Life works the same way. Every wise decision grows silently before it blooms. Repeat after me. My good decisions are growing, even when I can't see the results yet. Patience is part of wisdom. Now let's talk about courage. The courage to take responsibility. Many people make decisions and then blame others when things go wrong. But real maturity comes when you say, I made that choice and I'll learn from it. Taking responsibility gives you power. When you blame others, you lose control. When you take responsibility, you take back your power to change. Repeat after me. I take responsibility for my choices. I learn from every outcome. Good. Let's talk about another powerful idea. Listening. Wise decision-makers are good listeners, not just to others but also to themselves. They listen to advice, but they also listen to their inner voice. Listening helps you see the full picture. Let me tell you a story. There was a young engineer named Nabil who wanted to move to another country for a better job. His parents wanted him to stay. His friends told him to go. He felt torn between two sides. One night, he went for a long walk alone and listened, really listened, to his heart. He realized that his dream was not just about money, it was about growth. He explained this to his parents with respect, and though they were sad, they understood. Nabil left, and years later he said, "That decision was the beginning of my real life." Listening to your heart doesn't mean ignoring logic. It means finding harmony between feeling and thinking. Repeat after me. I listen deeply before deciding. I balance my heart and my mind. Now, let's practice some expressions you can use when talking about decisions in English conversations. I've made up my mind. I have decided. I'm still weighing my options. I haven't decided yet. It wasn't an easy choice. It was difficult to decide. I went with my gut feeling. I followed my intuition. Looking back, I'm glad I did it. I don't regret it. Try saying them aloud. I've made up my mind. I'm still weighing my options. It wasn't an easy choice. I went with my gut feeling. Looking back, I'm glad I did it. Excellent! Let's connect this once again with your English learning journey. Every time you decide to watch a video in English instead of scrolling social media, you're making a right decision. Every time you decide to speak, even when your accent isn't perfect, you're building confidence. Every time you decide to learn one new word, you're moving forward. Remember, success in English, and in life, is a result of hundreds of small, right decisions repeated over time. Repeat after me. I decide to learn something new every day. My progress is the result of my decisions. Now let's face the truth. Sometimes, even after making what you believe is the right choice, people will doubt you. They might say you're wrong. They might laugh. They might criticize. But remember, people see only the present. You see your future. The people who change the world are often misunderstood at first. Let's think of great leaders and creators. People like Nelson Mandela, Steve Jobs, or Malala Yousafzai. Each one made a decision that others questioned. But they stayed true to their values, and their decisions changed lives. You don't have to be famous to make a meaningful decision. Every time you choose honesty over lies, kindness over anger, or effort over laziness, you are changing your own world. Repeat after me. I stay true to my values. I trust my journey, even when others don't understand. Now, imagine this. You're standing at another decision point in your life. Maybe you're thinking about your next step, a new job, a new course, or a new beginning. Your mind is asking, what if it doesn't work? But your heart is whispering, what if it does? Which voice will you listen to? Close your eyes for a second and picture your future self, strong, confident, fluent in English, living a life you love. That person exists because of the decisions you make today. The small steps you take now are the foundation of that future. Repeat after me. My future depends on my decisions today. I am creating my best life, one choice at a time. You're doing beautifully. Now let's explore one last tool for decision-making. Reflection through journaling. When you write your thoughts, you see them more clearly. Before making a big decision, try writing these questions in your notebook. What am I deciding? What are the possible outcomes? What do I feel in my heart? What do I want to look back and be proud of? Writing helps your mind slow down and think calmly. It's like talking to your future self. Repeat after me. Writing helps me make clear decisions. Good. Finally, let's talk about faith, not religious faith, but faith in yourself and in the process of life. When you make a decision with honesty, courage, and love, life supports you in unexpected ways. You start to notice that things fall into place, opportunities appear, and the right people come into your path. So, when you stand before your next decision, say to yourself, I trust myself. I trust my path. I trust that everything will work out. Take a deep breath now. Feel that confidence in your chest. Feel how strong you've become through this journey. You have learned that right decisions come from clarity, patience, and courage. You've learned that mistakes are not the end, they are teachers. You've learned that your daily choices shape your future. Now repeat one final time. I make wise decisions. I choose courage over fear. I am proud of the person I am becoming. You are not just learning English, you are learning how to live with purpose, awareness, and strength. Every new word, every repeated sentence, every reflection you've made during this lesson is helping you become fluent not only in language, but in life. So the next time you face a choice, remember this message.